I'm the Kets Karinsa, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this 92nd Street Y Talk for Amazon's Birds of Paradise. I'm here with Kristine Froseth, Diana Silvers, and Sarah Adina Smith in conversation. This new film is about two dancers in an elite ballet academy who become friends and are tested when they must compete against each other for a dance contract. It's currently available to view on Amazon Prime, and here's the trailer for the film.
Just because you were number one once does not mean you will be again.
I will be number one. Who are you?
I'm Kate. I'm here to win the prize.
They pick one girl and one boy for the contract for the Paris Opera Ballet.
Light, légère.
She's testing you. She's torturing me too. Anyone who partners with Felipe will be the better dancer. He's the key to the prize.
Maybe you could help me.
Do you always follow the rules?
No.
Prove it.
My heart is on fire. I'm gonna count to 3, and we're gonna both stop.
Why should I trust you?
1, 2, 3.
From this day forward until death, I can't even remember my name.
This is our sacred oath.
You know my thing on my own shadow.
To win the prize together.
You know my
Or not at all. You in or not?
I'm in.
with this ring I
We're not gonna let anything or anyone come between us.
with this ring I
What kind of game are you trying to play?
with this ring I
You made me think we were actually friends.
I would never purposefully hurt you.
It's always been about sex, blood, money. It's all that matters.
Greatness has a price. Do you agree?
with this ring I be wed with all my worldly goods at the end of.
So nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about the film.
I'm so excited to talk to you too. I feel like the 92nd Street Y is such a iconic establishment, so it just feels very exciting to be talking
Every
about a
time
movie.
they ask me to do anything, I'm like, I'm a fraud, but okay, I'll do it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
like, thanks guys. I love to be here for you on call whenever you need me. Sarah, how did you get into developing this film? I know is like very loosely based on a book. You know, how did this kind of fall into your lap, and what was the inspiration for kind of wanting to develop it into a film?
Sure. Well, it came to me as a book, and Kristine Froseth and Diana Silvers were both attached. And I had just worked with Kristine on Looking for Alaska for Hulu. And I don't even know if I've said this to you out loud. I've been saying it all day, but I haven't said it to you. I felt such deep satisfaction being a part of your growth on Looking for Alaska.
You really were.
Thank you. And I just was like, I want to continue that journey with her and see where it goes. And then I had seen Diana in Booksmart, and immediately I was just like, oh, there's a star there. And she was just so charismatic and enigmatic and mysterious and deep and interesting in that part. And so that was immediately, it was just an attractive project to me. And then I read the book. And the book is just like an addictive, juicy, fun read. I think I ripped through it in a day. And truthfully, it had never occurred to me to make like a YA dance movie. It wasn't like on my radar. But I thought there was something so enticing about getting to write for these two in the world of like a competitive dance school in Paris. And it just felt like a jumping off point for me to get to talk about a lot of the themes I'm interested in. And like, to be super blunt, I saw something in these two and thought, what a cool exercise as a director to try and adapt something specifically for them and try and like break two new movie stars and show the world like these two can carry a film and then some. And so I just wanted to like write for their strengths and also then write in a way that would challenge them and push them even further than they thought they could go.
Which you did.
Took them right to the edge.
Well, Diana,
That's literally for
literally, ew.
Oh man.
Well, Diana and Kristine, how did you both get involved since you were kind of on board before Sarah was?
Was I on board before?
I don't think you knew it. Maybe you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Then we had a
didn't
meeting.
realize- I think it was one of those things where like before I was like, yes. My manager was like, she'll say yes. So it was like
classic Hollywood moves, by the way.
Yeah. And I was just kind of in the dark until there was a script for me to read. And then once, or not even a script, but there was like you had a whole idea of
a pitch of sort of how I was going to do it. Yeah.
Sarah had a very big pitch and she was like, this is what's happening with your character. And I was like, all right, sell it to me, give it to me. And I was like, I'm in, this sounds fantastic. I was like, I'd love to see a girl spiral. Like, I was like, I'd love to play someone that I have not played yet, you know? Cause like, I literally have not played anyone that's like gone on a downward spiral to then get then find redemption. So it was like that meeting, we like cheers, little champagnes.
I think we did. And I think I also wanted to know, so even though I guess we could call you loosely attached, very loosely, hypothetically attached. But that meeting was also for me to find out, was she going to be up to the task? Because Kristine, to be honest, I knew better since we had just come from working together. And so I wanted to make sure Diana was going to like have that fire in her belly. And that is, she is like the brightest burning bonfire in her belly of anyone I've ever met. She comes from competitive tennis. Like she was like ready to just break her feet and get on point. Like,
right away. I was like, I'm ready. Let's go. I was like, I can do a career one on point right now.
Yeah. The very first time you guys met, Diana was already like teaching you dance moves.
Do you remember that video?
Yeah.
Like, teaching me how to hold my arms and everything.
That's right. I remember that. That was fun.
First time learning about the opposition conflict.
I was so excited to like learn something new. I feel like, I don't know, as an actor, I feel like the same goes, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like we're both very curious people. So like exploring something that's like the unknown was so enticing. And like, there's something very attractive about that. And I was just like, so ready to do it. Also, I was looking for something to throw myself into. And then this opportunity came. Yeah. And then it was funny because like right after I attached, like a month after I attached, it was like, then I got Space Force and I was like, okay, now I have to
do two things at once.
And I was like, this is great. I need this. I've been really bored. So it was great.
And Kristine, I knew she was a very deep well. And I think you don't mind me saying you're more of an introvert.
This is very true.
Yes. A little bit more on the quiet side. But there was a moment in rehearsal and looking for Alaska where somebody turned on music and I saw Kristine kind of close her eyes and just start to move to the music. And I was like, oh, there's this whole other girl here. There was a whole other side to this person. And it was why I knew when they brought a dance book to me that I knew she could do it even though she didn't have dance experience. I just felt like you connect to music on such a soulful way. And that is sort of the beginning of dance, truly.
It really is.
So I just felt like you had it in you to do it.
And thank you for believing in me.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about it on set too, that we really wanted to do something physical together.
Yeah.
But you really meant so much to me during looking for Alaska. So I was right there. I really just wanted to continue working with you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I feel like it's been, this movie was fun because I feel like we went to some really intense places together. And I really so value that you trusted me enough to do that. But then also there's just on the flip side of that, like Kristine turned out to be a total badass. Like she loves to physically train just on the, she's ready for her action movie actually. And both of these women are so athletic. You can't make a ballerina overnight, obviously, you know? And so there's no way to do that, but they had 3 months of rigorous training. And it was for camera, but it was also, I think, to give you guys a chance to feel internally what that discipline is like, to build your characters. Yeah.
It was a large part of the character building for sure.
Yeah. How was that experience and working with Celia Ralston Hall, who I'm such a huge fan of? Her choreography is just absolutely incredible. You know, what was the experience like kind of getting into the mindset of a ballerina?
Am I starting? You start.
I mean, I had always had so much admiration and respect for dancers, but I had no idea what we were really going to get into and mentally how to even prepare. So I've been telling Diana, you know, in the beginning when we first started training, from morning to night, we had an intense schedule of like Pilates, gyrotonics, stretch classes. We observed classes. We participated in beginner ballet sessions, and then we had private rehearsals. So it's just like the whole day was filled with physical activities, and then it became emotionally draining. But I mean, it was amazing to just like text Diana and be like, I'm fatigued. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can do this. And then I had never danced before, and so I didn't really feel connected to my body in any way. And so I, you know, after just going through all of that and then getting to Budapest 3 weeks before we were about to shoot, we were putting all of that into practice and putting it into choreography, which was amazingly done. But that was another challenge, another step where we were struggling with kind of finding compassion for ourselves. And like, we had very high expectations, and they make it look so effortless. And then you're just 3 months, you know, isn't really anything compared to what they do. But I mean, it was a whirlwind, but you were also so patient. I was so nervous to dance in front of you the first time, and just like, you know, just be vulnerable like that.
And it takes a lot of guts, because all the other characters in the movie, save for a small handful, were real dancers. And so it's a lot of pressure for 2 non-dancers to then have to come onto set and be.
But Celia was so great about that. Like Celia, Jason Kettelberg, and Ida Saki they're her assistants. I mean, they were the 3 weeks before we started filming, when we were doing rehearsals, they were like our people every single day.
Yes.
And they were so patient, and they would like gently encourage us, like keep trying. Every time that we would get down on ourselves or feel like, what are we even doing? Like we're obviously not dancers. They'd be like, you are doing so well, like keep going. And like, no one is asking you to be a world-class 10-year trained ballerina right now. Like in real life, you know, like you're an actor, and you're doing something that's really, really difficult. So just be patient with yourself, and like show yourself the compassion, because, you know, it's hard stuff. And I feel like with them being so kind to us, like, I don't know, it made everything easier. Like I felt really safe with them, and
for sure,
I felt safe to keep pushing and to keep trying. And every time that I'd fall, or Kristine would literally fall in her Romeo and Juliet choreography.
Oh, she like full blown like you were bleeding when we shot that.
Like,
and at some point I was like, we need to stop. You're really, really hurting yourself.
But it was like we always had the encouragement to just get right back up and keep going. And
it made a huge difference. I mean,
really
I am, there's an impressive amount of dance in the movie that's actually the 2 of them. And we're not trying to hide the fact that there are dance doubles, you know, there was obviously a lot going on there.
No, we were not on point.
Yeah, exactly. No. But it was pretty impressive, the transformation that we saw. And honestly, it was more than I expected, given how short of time the training was.
Yeah, I mean, certain contemporary pieces that we both did, it's just, in hindsight, it's kind of, it's like that's the moment when you pat yourself on the back and think, wow, we did those things. Like we did that. You know?
Also brought your character to the dance, which was, I think, great. And you can see like with Kate, the way she holds herself, you can see like the former basketball player, like a more like slightly like attack the task at hand, like more aggressive, fiery dancer. And you can, exactly. Firebird. Exactly. And with M, you can see the soulful, sort of very musical dancer in her character too. Yeah.
That's what's funny too. It's like you do all this rehearsal, and then on the day you're like, oh, and I have my character still. Okay.
Right. I know.
Now I have
the choreography is so amazing.
I mean, it's like
its own story.
It's crazy. And then, but then you're just like, even for Romeo and Juliet, I was like, okay, so now I'm doing Romeo and Juliet, but as Kate as Juliet. Okay. It's like this like dance inception.
Layers. Yeah.
It was really fun, but Celia was freaking great with that.
I knew I wanted to work with Celia specifically because I mean, I think she's totally a visionary in her own right. But she and I think when we talked, we immediately connected on a level of just kind of working from the inside out and really channeling. So like, even though I'm not a dancer and don't speak that language, I could have, like, for example, in the climactic scene where you're dancing the solo, I could tell Celia that like, I need a dance where M is dancing with the ghost of her brother, and I need to like allow, you know, we could very it was very visceral language we could speak together, and I love how Celia made it raw in a way in her choreography, which was really astounding.
Well, I'm glad you guys mentioned the different layers of the characters, because I think obviously there's so many different layers between in the relationship between Kate and M, you know, where it goes from friends to rivals to are they in love with each other? You know, there's just so much there. You know, how was it kind of creating the chemistry between the two of you? And also, you know, Sarah, how was that through the writing process as well? Because it is such a wonderful, complicated relationship where, you know, I was so excited at the end to see them sort of like, you don't know what's going to happen, but to see them like kind of come back to each other.
I mean, I can say what it was like from sort of the writing perspective. I'm curious to actually hear your take on this, but I was really wanting to make a movie in contrast to the world of very traditional ballet, which can be very rigid in its sort of gender binaries, and you have to sort of fit into a certain box. And I wanted to contrast that with the coming of age story of people who aren't totally sure who they are yet and are still trying to figure that out. And a story about ambition and libido kind of colliding, particularly for Kate's character, like where who you want to be gets really confused with who you want to be with. So it became a story that it's about friendship, but it's about obsession. It's about class, actually, in a lot of ways. And it's about striving for greatness or for something beyond which you think might be possible, or in Kate's case, a world in which she feels shut out of in some ways. From M's point of view, this is what was so much fun as a writer and director on this one, is like, it was a two protagonist story, it was hard to do. So like talking about the relationship, it was completely different from Kate's point of view than it was for M's point of view, of someone who has lost the other half of her soul and is clinging to, you know, the person closest to her as solace and as a almost, you know, last resort, you know. So I was just excited to tell a really messy female friendship story.
Yeah, well,
now what did you guys think?
I feel like for that, what you said about like the getting the blurry line between who you want to be and who you like, am I drawn to you because I want to be you or because I want to be with you? You know, that I think Kate obviously struggled with the entire film, and even just that whole like the ballet world, and it's like something being out of reach and like wanting it even more, you know. And then once it's like in reach, being like, at least like, now what, you know. And then when you actually have that thing, it's like, so really now what, you know. And in Kate's case, it was the thing that she thought she wanted was the prize, whatever that is, but the real prize really was M, I think, ultimately. And that's what we see at the end of the film, is that like being the Firebird wasn't really what she wanted, you know. And that's why I feel like she ends up, when she sees you and it's like this thing, she has this epiphany of like what am I doing, like why was I doing all of this anyway, you know.
Yeah. If she was struggling with that throughout before she met M.
Yeah,
even
for sure.
Yeah, I don't even know where I should start with that. What the question is.
And I had a question. I was like, I'm just gonna talk.
Well, I think there's a lot. I mean, I'm not answering for you, but I think the question being about their particular chemistry of their relationship, but M has so much going on when we first meet her that we don't know about, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like Kate comes into her life kind of like an explosion, like in a literal fight. Now she's your roommate type of way. And and she's almost just the catalyst for your transformation.
For
so,
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah.
like Diana, I think the way that you described like what Kate feels is so beautiful, but it also seems like M's character kind of has her own like awakening through being like, I don't have to follow the path that was like meant for me. Like I know like maybe choreography is like, because I can't remember what I rewatched again last night, and I was just like, she's a choreographer. Like when they're like doing the like kind of montage, you're like, that's what this person should be doing, you know. How was it like kind of building the chemistry between the two of you? Because like, you know, you guys are like every scene, you know. How was it kind of like getting along and kind of forging that friendship?
It was, I mean, it happened so quickly. I mean, just from the beginning when we were doing the 3 months of the intense workouts, I texted Diana throughout that process. And then when we got to Budapest, you created like a lot of rehearsals and conversations, and we really just were vulnerable with each other. And I mean, we went there, and just from the beginning. Yeah. So I'm really glad that we had those chats.
I felt that the whole way, that you guys were supporting each other, which was really great and important to me, given how hard it was. That schedule was really hard.
Yes.
The shooting schedule was really intense.
Yeah, because we still wanted to fit rehearsal in.
Yeah. And we
after like a 14-hour day.
It was a 30-day shoot schedule. Yeah.
Remember like rehearsing after.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Not because anyone told us to, but because
we
really
were that determined.
We just wanted to be the best we possibly could. We wanted to do the material justice and the dance world justice. And and like I think we really supported each other in that quest. And I'm so grateful that I had Kristine.
I think one of the hardest things that like you guys went through, at least, and I'm curious if this resonates for you, but like normally an actor, they throw themselves into a role, but then you call wrap at the end of your shoot and they get to shake the character off and go home or go into the next job. But because of COVID, we had this pause, and it happened when we were kind of in like had really reached our momentum as a cast and crew. We were like approaching some of the most important scenes of the movie, if you recall.
Yes.
And then these poor guys had to like hit pause and not like, they had to keep their characters alive in them for like 6 months until we came back. And there are scenes in that movie that are literally like one half of the scene was done in February and the other half of the scene is done in September or August. And so it's a real tribute to you guys. Like it's a big burden to carry, not alone to like keep up training, but just like the emotional weight of that for that long.
Yeah. Especially with everything else that was going on in the world.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And not even knowing if we were going to go back or not.
No.
We didn't know for a long time whether we get to finish.
It was like,
I
remember I was like with my mom somewhere, and it was like middle of July, and they're like, yes, you're going back in like 3 weeks. I was like, what? Oh my God, I have to get ready now.
Stretch your hamstrings.
I was like, okay, plie.
Don't even remember what that is.
Yeah.
So tan.
Oh yeah.
We were like, we had just been like in summer vacation during filming. It was like dead of winter. We're pale as ghosts in Budapest. There's no sun, and then come back and we're just like, we've just been in the sun for 3 months, 4 months, like doing nothing in a pandemic. It was crazy.
Sarah, I had a couple questions. I was wondering, one of the things I love about the film too is all of the surrealism and like kind of aspects of it. You know, how is that a direction that you wanted to go with? Because like, you know, jungle like is so like, you're like, is this actually a club? Like, is this sort of like dreamland? I need to know, was that worm real? Because that part grossed me out so much.
Good.
You know, why was that kind of aesthetically a way that you wanted to go? I mean, I think
this was even the original script for this was actually even more surreal and psychedelic, if you guys remember. Like it was a much different ending to this movie that was like, you know, like 200 plus people half naked dancing in sync, like create a psychological wormhole that was about the soul's redemption. And it was like, it was a bigger climactic piece that was it was, you know, set in the jungle again. So the origins of this and really how I got excited about this project was that I really wanted to contrast the sort of like you'll notice in the main ballet studio in the school, I told our production designer, Nora, like I want it to feel like a sterile, like science lab where like you can see all flaws and you're almost in this perfect white light box as contrasted to the jungle where it's like feral and wild and chaos unleashed. You know, I think in all of my work, I've been trying, you know, it's hard to maybe sometimes put into words, but I think I'm always reaching for some type of almost like agnostic apotheosis, like some type of reaching for the beyond the realm of humanity in some way. And so like for me, the jungle was kind of that portal, that world that would open up their hearts to this big transformation they were going to go through.
Yeah. Well, and I think like, what we're like in terms of research and inspiration, I think ballet as like genre film is actually really interesting, because I think that people kind of can write it off as like a center stage, which is personally a favorite film. But you have like Suspiria, and I think it's just such a rich ground to explore things like the supernatural, but like, body issues and sexuality and stuff, were there things that you went to or that you all like watched or read before kind of in preparation?
Do you guys have any particular go-tos?
Shoes.
I watch Red Shoes too. I
Yeah.
don't actually watch that many dance movies in preparation.
I never watched I still have to watch the Red Shoes.
I haven't
It's
seen
come up a
Suspiria.
lot. I should probably have watched
I
it.
feel like I was like veering away from watching too
Me
many
too.
dance films. I didn't want to like mimic someone else's performance. Like I kind of wanted to, I mean, obviously like I've seen Black Swan, I love Black Swan, and the Red Shoes is great, and Billy Elliot is amazing. I mean, like there's so many amazing, incredible dance films, but I wanted to like, I just didn't want to mimic someone else's performance, because I would be like, oh, I like what they did there, like I should channel that to Kate. You know what I mean? I wanted to just like clean slate. So yeah, I watched the Red Shoes, like it was late. I fell asleep like halfway through, which is horrible. And my roommate it really was my roommate watched the Red Shoes and like told you about it.
But, do you have any go-to like other like songs or books?
Oh,
or
I
anything else?
created,
Music,
music was a
like
big part of
playlists.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I created a long playlist for
Same.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. There was
Music was,
I think that the big touchstone for me was probably kind of similarly. I love, like you said, dance movie as genre, as a way, almost like a format to tell a story in. But I didn't want to watch too many, just because I didn't want that kind of hanging over my head as I was creating it. So, but my touchstone was probably The Talented Mr. Ripley. And
I love that. That's
I
great.
love that movie. And I really I like that story of the outsider who feels barred from this upper crust world, and as if like they'll never be allowed to be a part of it. And then that leads to a sort of a friendship and a love and an obsession with someone who is in that strata. So that was kind of probably my biggest touchstone.
Well, and I think that's perfect actually, because I think one of the things I loved so much about the film is the ways that you explore, like, obviously like dancers, like with the body issues. I just think of the very like lovely moment when M lets Jamal look at her feet. So like, you're just like, oh God, it's just so like touching and gentle. And then obviously all of the sexuality stuff, because you're like, these people, like when she like, also when M tells Kate that she was like, I firstly thought I was jealous of him being with you, or him, but I was actually jealous of him getting you, kind of thing. And and then the same thing going with the class stuff, even just the like when Kate's walking around that like very palatial like place, how was it like fitting all of these different kind of like things that I think in lesser films could be like would be like issues, but they don't feel just so like packed into the world and realistic, where it's not like, well, like it's not like, I guess, like poking at just one thing,
I'm glad it felt that way, by the way. I'm really glad, I'm glad we wanted to talk about a lot of things, but have it feel organic and integrated and come from character, and not, like you said, trying to like wave a flag about any one issue.
Yeah. And how was that kind of like, kind of like getting that into like the characters in the world, like even with like the secondary characters too, we they're like races like discussed too with the dancer who's like the lead when M comes back. In there. Yeah.
No, I mean, well, first of all, it's a real credit to these guys to be able to hang on to their characters and balance all these different complex themes and issues. And, it's one of my, for better or for worse, as a writer, I'm sort of a maximalist. Like, I like my stories rich and dense and layered. I want to be able to I want the audience to feel like they could return and watch it again and get more. So I was asking them to unpack a lot. And, yeah, with the, the Gia character, it was also really important to me. I wanted to represent the world as I know and love it and feel it, which is, a very diverse world, and be able to talk about those issues too. Cara, who was one of our dance instructors, was really instructive, who grew up in the world of ballet, who's Black. And she read early drafts for me and like was able to also enlighten me on like, what is it like when to be a successful ballerina in the world of traditional dance, you have to fit in. It's like all the ballerinas have to like move the same way and move and sing it together. And if you're naturally different, then you have to dance a million times harder because all eyes fall to you when you're the one who sticks out. And I really credit to Cara for pointing that out for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's such a wonderful moment. That's so like, because that like really comes through. I think I've been thinking about the ending a lot. What do you guys think? Like, I love that it was kind of open-ended, that you don't ever actually know whether Kate or Em actually won. And I'm sure you guys have your own theories about that. What do you think kind of happened? And I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that they ended up together, because I think this is going to be lesbian Twitter is going to be very into this movie.
I can't wait to hear it.
I've told every queer woman I know to watch.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear the theories. I hope there's like fan fiction of like what happens after
Do you know?
Yeah, do you know?
You have to answer first. Wait, first of all, who do you think won?
I said Kate.
I think Em won.
I don't think Em would ever win because she just did her own.
No, but I think that's what's so special.
There's no way in that world. I really think that Kate would have won.
See, exactly. You said Kate just now.
Yes, Kate would have won.
Oh, wait. I thought you had like a slip, and I was like, ah!
That was funny.
Oh man, I just played myself.
I do like, as a writer, I liked the notion though that we never see inside the envelope, but that also it could be that there's no name inside the envelope. There's just an invitation to the, so maybe I like the idea that Kate never knew. That she, even though she went on to great success, she always had to live with that question mark.
Wait, so Kate got the envelope.
She got the envelope, but maybe there was no name. So maybe there's no name in it. Maybe it was just like an invitation. Yeah.
It's probably just an invitation, because how would they know which one to get?
Right? They had to pre-write those with like fancy quills, and maybe there was no name.
Like an brief intermission as we calligraphy
bring out the feather pens,
because they were already setting out well before we were dancing.
Right. All right, I'm right with you.
Yeah, no, I also have a really stupid theory.
We're taking the time with 90-second Why today. This has been so lovely. Congratulations on the movie. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of fanfic and a lot of memes.
Yay.
Thank you so much. You're so much fun to talk to.
Yeah.
All I need is a queer ballet movie. Like, I've been waiting for this. So
Yay.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.